There are three things we have to look at. The lack of broadband is certainly the priority. But once you have that, then we have to make sure not only do we have broadband connectivity, but those families who haven't been connected before, and now, if broadband is brought in and it's countywide, then we have to look at up-to-date devices that will actually connect to the broadband that's available. Affordability is a huge component for us. Perry County is, like many other counties, we're challenged. We have to look at the needs of everyone that lives here.
My cell phone service, I have Sprint, and it has been awful. I don't remember a single call in probably the last 6 months that wasn't dropped. I have to wait until I pretty much get into Licking County before I can have a solid call that we can both hear each other and it doesn't fall out.
You have to look at, did the hotspots connect where all of these people live? Well, that's where broadband comes in, because we don't have coverage throughout the entire county. In larger areas where broadband isn't an issue, doing online education looked different than it did here in Perry County, because I just, at the town hall meeting last evening, the superintendent in New Lexington spoke and said, 50% of their students didn't have connectivity. In Perry County, what we saw were buses going out with bags of food and packets for their kids to complete at home, because they weren't connected via the computer. They did an awesome job of reaching out to our students here, but it also amplified the issue that we need more broadband. We need full coverage in this county.
They had Zoom calls once in a while. There was a couple of times we tried to connect to that Zoom call so she could just see her friends' faces and her teachers. And it was definitely more for that than education. But there were twice that we weren't able to connect. Nothing was turned in for a grade because of the fact that they weren't sure if it was reaching everyone, if everyone was able to do those pickups. So they couldn't let it affect one person's grade and not the other. So we didn't actually have those turned in for grade. There was certainly stuff we didn't get to just because I had to be working. It would be very concerning to me had she had any issues in any areas that needed more attention that she would have gotten in the school setting. That certainly wouldn't have been possible. If the state isn't aware of the problem, they can't fix it. And so we need those voices to help them understand how important it really is. And it really is such a disadvantage, to these kids and to everyone's future. When you have a whole population of people that don't have access to the tools that are necessary in this world to educate them and to stay connected and to have the resources that everyone, it's not a level playing field for sure for these communities. And it's necessary and it's needed. And businesses don't come down there and buy the land and start new businesses and develop places, because how can you run a business in this world and you don't have internet? You can't do it, and you can't rely on a hotspot for a major business. Small businesses sometimes can do those things, but it's imperative. And so those communities can't grow and can't get better without access to that. It really is so important. We want our kids to have the best education and the opportunities that someone in Columbus had.
These are things that everyone is concerned about here in Perry County, because it's not just getting the broadband here, but it has to be affordable. And we have to be able to then get people connected with the devices that will work with that. You can't ask families to choose between broadband and groceries. You can't ask elderly people on fixed incomes to choose between their medication and connectivity if they have a health concern that they need that connectivity for.